Hi, I'm Megan and welcome to my kitchen. In today's What's for Dinner video, I'll be sharing with you what meals we had this past week. Our dinners were easy to make, budget friendly, and delicious. So if you're looking for some weeknight meal ideas for your family, just keep watching. For dinner this first night, this was off of the meal plan, but it just sounded good to me. I made Poppyseed chicken casserole. So in this 9x9 baking dish, I have sprayed it with some cooking spray. I added some chicken breast. I just cooked this in the air fryer with a little salt and pepper at 360 degrees until the chicken was done. Then let it cool, dice it up. In a separate bowl, I'm going to add in 1 can of cream of chicken and mushroom soup. This is both cream of chicken and mushroom in 1 can. You can use whatever cream of blank soup you prefer. And then normally I don't do this, but I wanted this mixture kind of more soupy than normal because I was going to serve it over rice. So I did about a half a can of milk. Next, I'm going to add in some sour cream, followed by garlic powder, a little salt, and pepper. And then we are going to add in what gives this its name. We're going to add in some poppy seeds. And then you want to give this mixture a really good whisk. Now over here to this side, I have some Greek yogurt. I wasn't sure how much sour cream I had. Like I said, this wasn't on the meal plan. I just kind of decided last minute to make it. I have made this before using Greek yogurt and I can't really taste a difference. Once I've got that mixture well combined, I'm going to add it over the chicken, spread it out, and now for the best part. I love a buttery Ritz cracker topping, especially on this casserole. It's so good. So I just crushed up some crackers. I did like a sleeve and a half because like I said, it's my favorite part. Melted some butter. I'm going to toss the butter with those Ritz crackers. Spread that out. This is going to go into a preheated oven. It was 350 degrees and I baked it for about 25 minutes until it was golden brown and bubbly. I like to let this set for about 10 minutes before I serve it. To go along with it, I made glazed carrots. I've showed how I make this before on my channel. Just canned carrots, I drain, add in a little bit of butter, a little drizzle of honey, some brown sugar, salt, and pepper, and then just allow everything to heat together slowly on about medium heat. I had a can of butter beans in the pantry that I needed to use up, so I added them to a pot. I drained them, added some chicken broth, a little cooked bacon, salt, pepper, garlic powder, and then simmered them for about 30 minutes. And then I made up some white rice just in the rice cooker. Here are the plates. So I've got some of the rice, the poppy seed chicken casserole on top, the lima beans, and the carrots, and this was a delicious dinner. The next day was the day before Thanksgiving. My mom had come over and we spent the whole day cooking and getting ready for the big day. So when it came to dinner time that night, I was not about to cook and make more dishes. So Gary ran up to Arby's for us. I didn't get a picture of what we had. My mom just got a roast beef sandwich, and then Gary and I got the chicken, bacon, and Swiss sandwiches with curly fries and cups of cheddar, and that was our dinner that night. The next day was Thanksgiving, and if you've seen my previous Thanksgiving videos, I mentioned that we typically did Thanksgiving around lunchtime, like around 11:30 or 12 o'clock. The biggest reason we did that is because my grandfather and uncle would come down from Kentucky and, for us to eat and everything and visit, and then they go back. That worked for them so they could get back before dark. But as you all know, my grandpa passed away last year, and then my uncle passed away earlier this year, and so this was our first Thanksgiving without them, and we decided to do Thanksgiving closer to dinner time. So that's what we did this year. Because we were eating later, I decided to set out some snacks for us to munch on. So here are the snacks that I put together. First up, I just grabbed one of the Hormel party platters from the grocery store, and then I had some crackers in my pantry I set out. I made some ham pinwheels. I used just some deli ham, pat them dry. I've shared this before on my channel, by the way, and then add some chive and onion cream cheese, roll them up, pop them in the fridge, and then slice them. And then I did a charcuterie board just with all kinds of yumminess. We had some honey goat cheese, some brie, fig jam, some maple cookies, different like honeycomb, all kinds of yumminess. So we ate that, like I said, while we were watching the parade and getting ready for Thanksgiving dinner. For the turkey this year, we did something that we don't normally do. So my dad had found one of the Kinder's turkey brine kits at Kroger, y'all. Those things are regularly like $9. He found it for 99 cents. such a great deal. So we brined the turkey in that, and then my dad deep fried the turkey. And then pretty much everything else I have shared before on my channel. I will link all the recipe videos down in the description box below for you. I did my ham in the crock pot. We made my granny's cornbread sage dressing, dad's giblet gravy. The other gravy boat is just like store-bought brown gravy. And then I did a green bean casserole. The little bowl next to the dressing was just some of the leftover ham glaze. I've got sweet potato casseroles. These are the little casseroles from Aldi. I put marshmallows on one and, didn't put them on the other. Did crock pot macaroni and cheese. I made a pineapple casserole, corn pudding. We've got, my mom made deviled eggs, potato salad, and then 3-bean salad. Gary's the only one that eats that, so I just make a little bit for him. My sister brought these brown and serve rolls. We've got cranberry sauce, and then I did some mashed potatoes. And then for our desserts, I made a homemade pumpkin pie. My mom and dad brought a pecan pie. My mom and I made chocolate pie, and then mom made banana pudding. My sister brought a sweet potato pie, and then my other sister made some peanut butter cookies. They were delicious. I mentioned the banana pudding, right? Hopefully so. All right, here are my plates. And yes, I said plates, plural. Don't judge me. I don't like my food to touch. If you've been with me for a while, y'all know this. I get a little bit of everything, like a couple tablespoons, and I give everything plenty of room. But everything was so good. It was delicious. And if you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you had a wonderful and safe and healthy Thanksgiving. The next night, of course, we had Thanksgiving leftovers. That's the best part about Thanksgiving, right? Are the leftovers. Didn't get a picture, but you just saw everything we ate. It's the same thing. For dinner the next night, I used some of the leftover turkey to make turkey tetrazzini. I have shared this before on my channel. It's been a while though. This is, I think, the Cozy Cooks recipe. Now, I feel like I'm an oddball. You know how they used to serve turkey tetrazzini in school at the cafeteria? I loved it. Like, that was one of my favorite days other than the pizza. And I have tried many different tetrazzini recipes over the year, trying to get that like same taste. And this is the closest recipe that I have tried to that. I don't know what they did, but it was so good to me back then. But again, this is the closest thing I've found. So I will link the video or the recipe link rather in the description box below for you. In this pot, I'm going to add in some butter. Once that's melted, I'm adding in some diced onion and chopped mushroom. I'm going to season that up with a little bit of salt and pepper, and then cook that on about medium heat for 5 to 7 minutes until those veggies are tender. Next, I'm going to add in some minced garlic, give that a stir, and cook that for about 30 seconds or so. Now, this next part is optional. The recipe recommends it, and that is to deglaze the pan with a little bit of white wine. I'm using non-alcoholic. You can use your favorite. Just a couple tablespoons. Oh, by the way, I halved the recipe for this. So I'm going to give that a stir, allow that wine to reduce by halves, just a couple minutes. Once we're there, I'm going to add in my leftover turkey. I did shred it up. You could also use chicken if you'd prefer to do that. They're both delicious. I've made them both ways. Now, the full recipe, it does a 9x13. It calls for 1 can of cream of chicken soup and 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. With me having it, I'm using 1 can that has both in it. Now I am going to add in the sour cream, and I did drop the heat to about medium-low, by the way, once I started adding in the soup and the sour cream. I'm going to add in a little bit of milk, followed by some grated Parmesan cheese. And you could grate your own if you want, but I've got this big thing that I'm trying to work through, so I'm just going to use the stuff from the jar. It turned out just fine. And then the last ingredient I'm going to add at this point are frozen peas. Now, this is kind of traditional with the peas and the mushrooms, but if you don't like it, you don't have to use it. You're in your kitchen. You can absolutely substitute. You could use like bell peppers. You could add in broccoli or asparagus. Use whatever you like, what you've got on hand. Once I've got that stirred up really well, I'm going to add in my cooked pasta. This is just spaghetti. I cooked it according to the package instructions. I'm going to give that a good mix. And then I had saved some of the cooking water from the spaghetti just in case I needed it. And I added a little bit in, and then I'm going to place this in a greased casserole dish. I use like a 8.5 by 11. And I'm going to spread it with some mozzarella cheese, place it into a preheated oven at 350 degrees, and bake it for about 25 to 30 minutes or so until it is golden brown and bubbly like this. I do recommend that you let this sit for about 10 minutes before you serve it up. And then I had a couple hot dog buns that I really needed to use up, so I just placed them on a cookie sheet. I brushed them with some butter, added garlic powder, some parsley, and just popped them into the oven while the turkey tetrazzini rested. Here are the plates. So we've got the turkey tetrazzini, the hot dog garlic bread, and then I did some side salads, and this was so good. It's a great way to use up that leftover turkey or chicken, and, you know, whatever vegetables you've got in the fridge, and it feeds a ton. Like I said, I have the recipe, and this made like an 8.5 by 11, and we had dinner plus seconds, and then we had like lunch for the next day. So it's a great recipe to keep on hand for a crowd, especially around this time of year. For dinner the next night, I did a pot roast. I have shared this before on my channel, but I'll just quickly walk you through it. Here are the ingredients that I'm going to use. I've got my roast, can of cream of mushroom soup, a package of Lipton onion soup mix, a couple potatoes, some onion I already chopped up, and then normally I add carrots. I decided not to do the carrots today. All I do is combine the onion soup mix, the cream of mushroom soup, along with a little bit of water, like maybe a can of water. Mix it up. I lay my onions down in the crock pot, add my potatoes, carrots if I'm using it, season that up with some salt and pepper. I season my roast with salt and pepper, and then add that on top of the vegetables, pour my onion soup and cream of mushroom soup combination over that, and then I cook it on low for 8 to 10 hours until the roast is literally falling apart. And then sometimes, depending on how much liquid I add, I will do a cornstarch slurry. So I just combine a little cornstarch with some cold water, add it in, and then let it cook maybe on high for like 15 minutes to thicken up. That's what I did tonight. And then I didn't want a salad or any sides with this. I just wanted some rolls, so I cooked up some Sister Schubert's rolls in the oven, and this was delicious. That roast was just so tender and so flavorful. It was delicious. For the last dinner in this week's video, I wanted something super quick and easy. We were heading out of town the next day to go up to Kentucky to spend Christmas with my dad's family. So I literally just looked in the fridge and pantry to see what things needed to be used up. This is what I decided to put together. So I decided to do like some copycat CHUCKWAGON sandwiches. Here is what I'm using for the quote-unquote CHUCKWAGONs. I have 2 of the Tyson country fried steak patties in my freezer, so I'm going to cook those up in the air fryer. I've got a couple of these Pepperidge Farm sesame seed hamburger buns. We'll serve those on. And then I had a little bit of Velveeta and then some odds and ends of cheddar cheese or shredded cheese. And so I decided to do macaroni and cheese. I also had like maybe a third of this box of cavatappi. So I boiled up the cavatappi pasta according to package instructions, drained it, and then to that same pot I added in the Velveeta and milk and cooked that on like medium-low heat. Once the Velveeta was melted, I added in some of the cheddar cheese, and then once that melted, I added in my pasta, added some salt and pepper, and that was it for the mac and cheese. So creamy and delicious. And then for our CHUCKWAGON sandwiches, I like mine really simple with just the tiniest bit of mayonnaise and ketchup. For Gary's, I did like a deluxe version, so I added a slice of American cheese, some lettuce, tomato, ketchup, and mayonnaise, and that was our dinner that night. All right, that is it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you liked this video and that you got some dinner ideas to try from it. If you did like it, hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.